full pre-season for Manchester United and absolutely getting himself ready and raring to go is going to be huge. He had a bit of an injury-disrupted early part of the season last season, and he'll be absolutely wanting to make sure that he's 100% ready to go for the start of the Premier League season.
Yeah, because a fit Casemiro, who is ready to roll on the back of 5 and 6 games, you then start to see what he really can deliver. We saw that in his first season, but because his season was interrupted by injury last year, we didn't see the player that we saw the year before. If we can get him back to that, and a full pre-season will massively help, then what a difference that could be to the team and the squad.
Could be absolutely huge, couldn't it? And you just take a brief look at the two managers as well before we get this game underway. I think this is quite important too. You've got the likes of Erik ten Hag, who's sort of early on in the plan, his big plan for Manchester United. That takes time, and his opposite number, who absolutely has had a little bit more time to get things ready, in Mikel Arteta, and he's reaping the benefit. It's really an example of what can happen if you are a little bit patient. You give a manager enough time, build the structure around him and back him, and all of a sudden you can reap the rewards.
Well, Erik ten Hag has won a trophy in each of the seasons that he's been here that no other manager, even Sir Alex, didn't do that. And Mikel Arteta from an Arsenal side that only 2 or 3 seasons ago looked like they were some way off being anywhere near title challengers, and he takes the helm, and all of a sudden we've seen what they've done in the last couple of seasons. But I think Erik ten Hag this season will really be looking to kick this team on. That last season has now gone. The end result was brilliant. The win against Manchester City for so many reasons, and now we have to kick on further from that.
We are not a million miles away from getting this game underway on MUTV. If you are new to MUTV, a brand new subscriber, or maybe you're coming back to us after a little while to watch this pre-season, you are absolutely welcome. Ben Thornley and I will do our level best to keep you fully up to date with what's going on at SoFi Stadium, and what a stadium this is, by the way. Just having a look around there, we were seeing the shots of people like Dominic Monaghan, who, Charlie from Lost, or whichever Hobbit he was he Merry? I think he was Merry in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he's there with proper beer glasses and chips in a cone. It looked absolutely magnificent. That's hospitality, Ben.
It certainly is, and it's the way that it is, isn't it, in the States anyway. It's they do everything bigger, everything better, and we saw glimpses of it there.
Manchester United lining up for that picture. Harry Amass holding the pennant, Toby Collier alongside him. You'll know many of the other faces. Mason Mount there just turning away. It's a big season for him too. I don't think he had the first season at Manchester United that he would have wanted. Very interrupted with illness and injury, really not able to make his mark. A little bit unfortunate too, I suppose, to be wanting to play the position that was held down so valiantly by Bruno Fernandes, who was so brilliant last season. This is a real opportunity for Mason Mount to put a marker down for the season.
Yeah, it's massive. And, whether he has got aspirations of trying to fill that number 10 role that Bruno has done so brilliantly for the last, 4 seasons, I think that there is definitely a place for a Mason Mount that we saw at Chelsea a couple of seasons ago, for a couple of seasons, in that he can come in off either of the wide areas and really create problems with his movement, with his passing, with his ability on the ball. It is a big season for him because he would have been so disappointed with his return last year. I know that a lot of it was through injury, but I think even when he was included in the starting lineup, I don't feel as though he thought that he fully justified the player that we all know he is.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right, and hopefully we can see Mason Mount come on leaps and bounds. He managed to get his first goal last season for Manchester United. It took him a little while, but that goal at Brentford was a good goal, a really good goal, and just a bit unlucky in the end that game finished the way that it did in the dying stages, because it would have been a brilliant 3 points for Manchester United had it stood, because they played pretty well for the whole of that game. It just sort of all fell apart in the dying moments, didn't it? Right, well, that's last season. Let's focus on the pre-season, shall we? Arsenal ready to go. Manchester United all lined up too. I've got to say, that new kit is absolutely astonishing for Manchester United. Love that blue strip. It's absolutely... it's slightly darker than some of the blue strips that Manchester United have had previously, but I really like it. I'm a big fan of that new kit, Ben.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of all of them.
Yeah, they look great, don't they?
Yeah, I do. I think they look really smart. Congratulations on whoever designed them.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
We do love the Adidas gear. doing a brilliant job with these shirts. The home shirts absolutely smashing. Right, not a million miles away from getting this game underway. Everybody ready to go. You can see the big screens running around the top of SoFi Stadium. Wan-Bissaka pictured. What do you want to see from Manchester United over the course of the next 90 minutes, Ben?
Well, I mean, you want to see improvement from the previous two games. Obviously, you would like to see them dominate the ball. We've come up against opponents in the first couple of games. Rosenborg are in the middle of their season, but we've had a couple of games now, and there's been training on top of that. So you would start to see players looking that bit sharper, that bit fitter, that bit stronger, and I think that will become more evident as games 3, 4, and 5 unfold.
Arsenal to get us underway then, and pre-season game number 3 has started in Los Angeles. Long ball forward and an early introduction for Leny Yoro. It's a tough-looking challenge on Mason Mount, who is bundled to the floor. Referee quickly blowing the whistle to give United the free kick.
I think we were toying as well, weren't we? The central defensive partnership between Yoro and Maguire, and you said to me, which side do you think Harry Maguire's going to play on? And I honestly thought that he would play on the right, because all his other partners, Martinez, Johnny Evans, Victor Lindelof, they all play to his left, but it looks like Leny Yoro was taking up the right-sided berth.
Oh, and he's let that one get through, Leny Yoro, and all of a sudden Manchester United under a little bit of pressure. That's a brilliant recovery challenge to make sure the ball comes all the way through to Andre Onana, but just a little moment of nervousness across the Manchester United back four.
Yeah, there was. It was, as we were talking about him there, he completely misjudged, didn't he, Leny Yoro, as the ball came through. I'm not sure whether it was Casemiro that got back and had that vital touch that allowed Andre Onana to gather the ball up.
Harry Mass back to Casemiro, tries to swing a pass away, it's blocked off. I think it's important to point out, just in case you don't know, we'll take another look at this, just loses the flight of it ever so slightly, and it is...
it's Yoro himself, wasn't it?
Yoro gets back and makes the challenge, and that's what you get out of Leny Yoro, really quick across the turf, manages to recover. Harry Maguire slows everything down, and it is a brilliant recovery challenge.
It is.
From United's new signing.
And let's not forget, as you already pointed out, he's still only 18. He's still learning the game. It's a very difficult position to come into at such an early age in your career. I know that he's played on the back of a lot of games last season, but still, he is going to make mistakes because he's still only 18.
I think it's also important to point out that the turf at SoFi Stadium is actually artificial. It's not real grass. As much as it looks like it from this angle, it is turf. That's a lovely turn from Harry Mass. And that changes the way that the ball bounces. It changes the way that it sort of slips off the turf. And they have been watering it heavily all afternoon in LA.
Yeah, it could get incredibly sticky, couldn't it, with the heat if they didn't water it. It just gives it that little bit of zip on the surface. But that's a brilliant turn. He's been so impressive, Harry Mass. So confident, him and Sam Murray, when they've been called upon so far this pre-season. They've looked real cool customers.
Have had a great season last season too. More on that in a moment. But first, here comes Reiss Nelson down the right-hand side for Arsenal. Lovely tackle goes in from Mason Mount. Just getting nice and tight to that. Something that Mason Mount does incredibly well is just keeping that press going. Hustles and harries. He is all energy, Mason Mount, when he's playing for Manchester United. Throw in going to be taken by Ben White. Long throw from him, looks to get flicked on, but Toby Collier steps in and steals it away. Casemiro fires the ball up to Rasmus Højlund, wearing the number 9 for Manchester United. In that new blue kit, across it goes, closed down really quickly by Amat, but he can't get there. That's one back by Mason Mount. That's going to be a free kick.
That was naughty from Jorginho. He knew he was beaten. I know they might be ex-teammates, but even so, he wouldn't have taken very kindly to that, Mason Mount.
He's come over and apologised straight away, and again, you're just watching the two sort of leaders in that team in Casemiro and Harry Maguire immediately just having a little word with the referee to make sure that he's keeping an eye on situations like that, because it's unfriendly from Jorginho.
Yeah, it was. And I know that he was sold short by Zinchenko, but maybe that is just another example of how dry the pitch can get, and the ball just doesn't carry. It's the surface is going to be quite sticky despite the water.
As Mason Mount with the free kick. Harry Maguire gets the header back across goal. Has to be heaved away to Odegaard. It's a good tackle from Toby Collier. That's what you can expect from the youngster. He reads the game brilliantly. We've seen over the course of last season that he's not afraid of sticking a foot in, getting a tackle made. Always finds himself in a good position too.
He's been as impressive as Hamas and Murray we've been talking about. He's come in for these first two games and obviously starting this one as well. But he looks really confident. We know that we've seen him. He's a proper box-to-box midfielder. He will stick his foot in, and he's confident on the ball. And we've already seen that once or twice this evening.
He's won the ball back again there, and Mason Mount into the penalty area. Cross it comes towards Ahmad with the effort. Spilt by the goalkeeper. Cleared away. Arriving late, Ahmad. Fresh off the goal that he scored against Rangers last weekend. He is a bright spark for United at the moment.
Well, that was all started by Toby Collier, and the ball pulled back into the area by Mason Mount. And honestly, I was just waiting for that ball to nestle inside that left-hand post or right-hand post, whichever way you want to look at it. It was just hit too true. Caught the goalkeeper Karl Hein by surprise. He couldn't hold it.
As you've already mentioned, Toby Collier joined Manchester United. He was previously with Brighton, a Worthing boy from on the south coast, and he's been with Manchester United for a season or so now, maybe a little bit longer, 2022. I think he ended up at United's academy, but has been really important in and around those 18s and 21s. The 18s who had such a fantastic season last season. Really, really good. It's not been kept in. Referee allowed it to continue. This is the opportunity. Well, I think Ahmad probably will think he should have done better from that position.
Yeah, I think he hit it into the floor, didn't he? He did exactly the right thing, but he didn't wrap his foot around it enough. He really should have whipped it into the far corner where the bulk of the space was to Karl Hein's left hand, and that would have been a goal.
Do we need to give a little bit of credit to Aidan Heaven there, who I think made just the smallest of touches as he slid in. The Arsenal youngster.
No. No, I genuinely think that in the form that Ahmad has been showing this pre-season, he'll be disappointed that A, he scuffed his shot, and B, he didn't get the direction on that he realised he needed.
Timber bringing the ball away, floated forward, Harry Maguire. Calm as you like, finds Harry Hamas. He's not hurried, and that's been a feature of Harry Hamas since he joined the United Academy. Calm, composed on the ball, excellent going forward, smashing with a set piece too. Harry Hamas, not sure he's going to sure where he features in the queue of set piece takers in this team, but he's definitely capable.
Well, he already will have caught the eye of the manager, if not in previous games, certainly the way that him and Toby Collier have started this one. First and foremost, as a manager, you want to see that youngsters have got the temperament to play in this sort of an environment against this sort of opposition, and they've not been fazed one iota.
Just a little bit of trickery from Leandro Trossard. Ends up drawing the foul. Referee immediately blowing for the free kick. Trossard playing off the left for Arsenal today. There's another one that we were having a chat about before the game. Which side would Reiss Nelson be and which side would Leandro Trossard be? Trossard currently occupying that left berth.
I think it's been a very good signing for Arsenal, I have to say.
Agree. So, time for some set-piece defence for Manchester United. Whipped into the penalty area, met by Casemiro. Pops out to the edge of the penalty area. Trossard, lovely turn, stands the ball. it away to Marcus Rashford, who leaps highest or forward again. Nwaneri into the penalty area. Shot comes in from Nwaneri. That is a brilliant save from Andre Onana. Pushes it away.
Brilliant save. He didn't know that there was an offside flag going to go up. It's a brilliant point-blank save. He plays the ball inside, and he had just strayed, hadn't it, Nwaneri? And he's... Am I right in saying that he made his debut at 15?
Yeah, he is the youngest player in Premier League history. Yeah. Came on against Brentford in September 2022, aged just 15 years old.
What an achievement. Highly rated.
Just the continuation of that run goes to show he's got a bit of nous about him. That's a good ball forward from Rashford to Rasmus Højlund. He's going to run him as well. Højlund in the penalty area, gets the shot in and scores. And Rasmus Højlund opens his tally for the season. A powerful run from the Dane, and he slots it home to give Manchester United the lead.
Well, I never mentioned it earlier, but there was a ball played up to him that he instantly controlled. He didn't keep hold of it after that, but his first touch, and he really does look the part this evening. The ball over the top, by the way, from Marcus Rashford is one that no defender wants. It's whipped right round the corner when you're starting to push up. That is an absolutely brilliant ball. He could see him going. Really good strength. Not great defending from the youngster Aiden Heaven. He just uses his power just to manoeuvre him off balance, not just once, but does it once, does it twice there, and then he's beaten. Goalkeeper is a little bit exposed with his legs open, but he's expecting him to go far corner. He was clipped as well before he hits it. It's a mightily impressive return for the day.
It's good and strong. Aiden Heaven just couldn't cope with the upper body strength, really, of Rasmus Højlund. He almost just shrugs him off. Højlund opens his tally for pre-season, and he'll be delighted because that's a decent finish too. Some questions over whether Karl Heinz should maybe have made the save, but Rasmus Højlund won't carry a job.
No. But it was a brilliant ball from Marcus Rashford, it really was. They are not balls that defenders likes. Or like, I should say.
Mason Mount has been in the wars early doors on this, and he's had the free kick given against him here. And has the referee given the free kick for obstruction from Mason Mount after he was felled? Well, that's a puzzler for me, Ben.
He tried to get something out of the referee as to why he'd come to that conclusion, but he was saying nothing.
Short shrift from the referee. Odegaard, decent ball in. Just a little bit of confusion. Maybe not a clear enough name on that from anybody inside the penalty area, but he's tidied up. And that, just having to fight to get that away, does pretty well in the end. That goes to Rashford from Harry Maguire. Mason Mount feeds this back through. Real chance here for Manchester United to get going. Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets a good crossing towards Højlund. Well, it could have been two. Rasmus Højlund darts across his man. He just can't keep the shot down.
Great football, really is. Intricate, and then it's the killer pass there. He does exactly the right thing. He sees him coming to the near post, Rasmus Højlund, and we all know that he favours his left foot. Maybe just to give him that little bit better balance, he might have been better sort of sweeping it with his right foot. It would have been a hell of a finish if he'd have managed to flick it in with the outside of his left, but maybe his right foot would have been a little bit easier, and he could have used his left-hand side of his body just to shield the impact.
I think we may have a problem for Rasmus Højlund. I think I've just seen him give a sign to the bench. Yeah, down he goes. He's just given a sign to the bench that he needs to potentially be changed here. And I wonder whether he's just got his feet caught in this artificial turf and the studs of court, and it's just given him a little bit of a tweak, Ben.
The jolt, yeah, it's very possible.
I think we're probably going to see a change, and we're going to see Hannibal onto the field.
Well, he'll be disappointed. He's had an impact, obviously. He's looked really lively, and he scored the goal. But just here, we'll obviously learn the full extent of what he's actually done. It's a shame. It's one thing that players dread in pre-season is not being able to fulfil the 5 or 6 weeks that you have with the games and the intense training. It just sets you back, and I'm hoping. Take that all day long. That sort of football is absolute joy to watch.
Toby Collier heaped praise on him, and just a little wayward as he played it back to the Manchester United centre-back.
Well, he was involved in that move as well. Both of them, Harry Amass and Toby Collier, heavily involved. Pretty amazing.
Class at Manchester City, now here at Manchester United. But there's a few in there. Sam Murray, who's on the bench for Manchester United, he was at Huddersfield's academy, and then they closed the academy, and Manchester United. But quick mouth that, all of them coming through this Manchester United academy have been hugely important. That's out of play. Harry Amass is going to go and take the resulting throw-in. Well, certainly done himself no harm in the opening 20 minutes, has he? Harry Amass. Marcus Rashford back to Harry Maguire. Plenty of Premier League games between those two. I think Marcus Rashford's over 400 appearances for Manchester United now, 402 at last count, competitive appearances. Harry Maguire's over 300 games. Mass gets up but can't get the ball away. Casemiro on Odegaard. Odegaard goes down. Referee says there is no foul. Casemiro's just going to stop play to make sure that Martin Odegaard's okay. I'm not sure how much contact there was between the two of them, but the referee certainly wasn't having any kind of free kick, was he?
Well, it makes you think that Mason Mount earlier had a very valid point, because I thought that was a genuine foul. I'm not quite sure what advantage the referee saw not to take it back.
There is an ongoing debate in the NFL at the moment around turf versus. Had to give the foul there on Odegaard?
It probably in real time. I thought he would have given it, because Casemiro didn't make any contact with the ball, but I think it was the way that Odegaard fell that made it look a lot worse than it actually was.
22 minutes played, nearly halfway through the first half, as Casemiro nods this forward. Ahmad's going to try and put some pressure on Karl Hein, can't do so, collects on the penalty spot. We will finish this game with a penalty shootout regardless of the score, so even if it finishes with a Manchester United 1-0 win, we will then have a penalty shootout at SoFi Stadium, very similar to how it played out in the pre-season tour last year.
Yeah, and I'll take the same outcome from both the 90 minutes and the penalty shootout.
Scored all five, didn't they?
Yeah,
Manchester United
did. And two very good goals as well.
Good to see Jurrien Timber back and playing. Had a horrible ACL injury last season. Kept him out for all bar two of Arsenal's Premier League games. The first game of the season and the last game of the season when he made his comeback. And that is not what you want to see for any professional football.
No. Now that I have done as well, So I understand what he's gone through.
Hannibal. Parisian. He's looking for the ball down the left-hand side to Marcus Rashford, but Rashford hasn't continued that run. The ball's out of play. Funnily enough, Hannibal and Lenny Yoro, two of them within 3 years of one another, both from the southeast of Paris. Deary me. Again, it's just a I'm not sure it's that bad a foul. I think it's just the way that
he followed through. Yeah. I mean, is that classed as a tackle from behind when you poke it between somebody's legs? But certainly there was impact on Odegaard from the follow through from Collier.
It's just those studs getting caught in the turf that makes you wince a little. Gabriel Jesus missed him for large parts last season too. Here he is in the penalty area. It's a lovely turn from the Brazilian. Gets it across goal, turned away by Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Odegaard bends one towards goal, blocked by Casemiro. And out of play over on the far side.
Yeah, brilliant from Wan-Bissaka. Wonderful position. Realised that Harry Maguire had been done by Gabriel Jesus here on the right touchline. It's a really clever turn. And that's a great position from Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Just ducks underneath the contact, doesn't he? Harry Maguire's arm comes out and he can't get the brakes on quickly enough. Chucks the anchors out, but the nimble Brazilian just ducked underneath it. Spell with Manchester City where he was vitally important after Sergio Aguero had left, and now plying his trade with Arsenal. Chance here for the Gunners to try and get something moving. Trossard finds Zinchenko. Moves it back to Trossard. Belgian twisting and turning. Sends it back to the Ukrainian Alexander Zinchenko. Trossard again. Manchester United just trying to keep pace. That's going to be a decent finish too. Finish from close range by Gabriel Jesus. Ben Thornley thought that there was a potential offside there. It wasn't given. Well worked down the left, one apiece.
I must admit, my arm went up in conjunction with the rest of the Manchester United defence, so it'd be interesting to see this again. Let's give it the merit, first of all, that they kept the ball really well, Arsenal, down that left-hand side. And it's a brilliant ball in from Zinchenko. Really difficult to defend against. One of them that, if your centre forward doesn't put it in, your defender might. I'm just having a look here now as to whether he might be offside. Oh, it was Harry Amas.
Yeah, I think he's got back onside.
I think it might have been Harry Amas at the bottom of your picture that didn't look like it there because Harry Maguire has realised that he needed to step in. Either way, it was a well-worked goal, and he's a poacher, Gabriel Jesus, and he's in the right place there for a centre forward on the end of a really good ball.
I think there's a couple of shots for offside there. I think the first ball and the one through to Gabriel Jesus is also one that the video assistant referee would take a little look at. We are moving to semi-automated offsides in the Premier League next season, so very similar to the technology that was used at the Euros. If you watched any of that, you understand how quickly they managed to get to these offside decisions. That's a lovely ball forward. Onside, says the assistant on that far side. Aaron Wan-Bissaka had a bit of a wrestling match with Trossard. Trossard wins that battle.
Another look here. Now that's offside. When you slow it down like that, had that been a VAR decision, then that's really harsh on the defenders because they've absolutely done their job. They're all in line. I thought Harry Amas might have dropped a little bit deeper, but I'm doing him a disservice. That should have been ruled out for offside.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. Amat finds Mason Mount. Mason Mount has a go and it's turned away by Karl Hein. Well, it opened up for him, didn't it? Casemiro, slightly clumsy in his effort to win the ball back on the edge of the penalty area, concedes the free kick.
I'm not suggesting for 1 second that the way Arsenal have played in these opening 25-26 minutes that they do deserve to be on level terms. I think Manchester United have had much the better of this game, but it just goes to show that you are playing against top level opposition, and if you allow them just to have a little bit of possession that has not been interrupted, they do have that killer ball and they obviously can score goals.
This forces the error. Manchester United will have the throw in on this near side.
And it wasn't Zinchenko that took the ball in, was it?
Is it Trossard?
No, I don't think it was Trossard either. It was such a good ball with the left foot that I thought it was Trossard. Sorry, Zinchenko.
Elliott as well plays that against Ben White, and now to play for another Manchester United throw-in, which Mass will take. Seen an almost perfect example of what Harry Mass is about tonight. Excellent attacking, excellent going forward, wants to be positive, isn't overawed by the situation. See why he was such a vital cog in that under-18s and on occasion the under-21s for Manchester United last season.
Yeah, we're looking to kick on this season, and he's already done that, some might argue, by being included on this tour and certainly performing so well.
In the matchday squads, of course, in the Premier League last season, he was on the bench 4 or 5 times, wasn't he? Towards the back end of the season. That's lovely from Mason Mount. Finds himself a little bit of room and gets the ball away to Marcus Rashford. Rashford just tucks it infield, now just needs to wriggle free, but doesn't see Martin Odegaard sneaking up on him, who steals the ball away. And there's out Harry Maguire, runs away from the scene of the collision. Gabriel Jesus. Game, that is not what you want to see. Hannibal tries to flick this on. Straight out of play, referee gives the throw into Arsenal.
Is there any evidence that could have been some sort of an impact injury on Lenny Yoro?
I didn't see anything. I'm now hoping that it's an impact injury as opposed to anything else. It's going to be Reece Bennett, who is readied by Manchester United, and Reece Bennett, who will come onto the field. Now he is a proper Manchester boy and a proper academy graduate too. Been here since he was like 7 or 8 years old. Reece Bennett was born in Denton in Greater Manchester, still goes back and visits his primary school, does those visits. Onto the field he comes. Lenny Yoro making way for Reece Bennett. Meanwhile, Arsenal into the penalty area, looking to get the ball across. It's a lovely ball into the penalty area. Nelson going to try and dig it out, headed away by Casemiro. So important in those areas. Casemiro, when he drops back from central midfield to become the extra defender, his heading ability so important.
Yeah, it's a good ball from Trossard as well. And I'll tell you what else was good. Harry Mass standing his ground, not selling himself. He's a tricky customer, Reece Nelson, but he didn't give him any room for manoeuvre.
So, Rasmus Højlund has limped away from the field. So too Lenny Yoro now for Manchester United. 2 substitutions that they were really hoping they didn't have to make. Ball out from Casemiro, looking for Ahmad. Now Ahmad's gone down out on that far side. Referee is just going to stop play here, and he's just going to go and check on Ahmad, who looks to be in a little bit of pain, Ben. This is slightly concerning again. I think he's going to be all right, Ahmad. I think that's probably more impact than anything else.
Yeah, I think it was. He was just a little bit short with the pass, Casemiro. As we've already mentioned, the stickiness of this surface, you really need to punch your passes in. And he's saying that he felt Zinchenko stamped on him. It's difficult to see from that angle. I just thought the pass was short and he had every right to go for that. And he didn't do anything wrong, not for me. I would be disappointed if that was given against a Manchester United defender.
Mason Mount still lurking and trying to make a nuisance out of himself. We've got 9 minutes to play until we get to the half-time interval. Mason Mount trying to push up the field. Manchester United playing with this false 9 now, essentially, with Hannibal, who's come on to replace Rasmus Højlund. An extra midfielder, really, not an out-and-out striker. That's a lovely long ball forward. Harry Mass going to have to try and deal with this. Out comes Andre Onana, wafts a left boot at it, manages to smash it downfield.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And he was well shielded as well by Harry Mass. It was a searching ball.
Hein to the left-hand side to find Zinchenko. Zinchenko going to try and switch the play. Just overcooks that pass to Nelson. Sails out of play. Manchester United throw in. Obviously, get as much news as we can to you about what the potential problems are for Manchester United as and when we can on MUTV. Make sure you keep an eye on the Manchester United website now for all of the latest news. Be where you get all of the things that you need to know first thing. Nodded out of play by Arsenal. Rashford tries to find Amas. I'm not quite sure that Harry Amas was ready for that one. Harry Maguire definitely wasn't ready for that one, and Arsenal have the throw-in inside the United half.
They just made a little bit of a hash of that.
Maguire heads this away. Rashford can't get there. Reece Bennett played in every age group for Manchester United. He was, of course, the captain of that under-18 side that went on to win the FA Youth Cup. Was that 2022? Really important. Spent a bit of time on loan last season with Stockport County. Of course, went up from League Two as champions last season. Hatters. 1-1. Rasmus Højlund's opener cancelled out by Gabriel Jesus in the opening 45 minutes. Casemiro slides in, but is danced around, and now raking ball forward, finds the chest of Andre Onana. Onana's going to try and go direct, the opposite direction. Not a bad ball at all to Ahmad. Ahmad's going to try an early one into the middle, but misplaces that pass as he's looking for Marcus Rashford, and it trickles out of play for an Arsenal throw.
Andre Onana showing Ahmad how to do it. It's a brilliant ball from the goalkeeper. Good anticipation and then brilliant execution out to that right-hand side. Just spinning it off the top of his boot. Yeah, plenty of runners going in the opposite direction.
Mason Mount just trying to help Hannibal. Just asking him to drop off slightly. Hannibal decides to go and press the football. Arsenal very good at dealing with this situation though. Evan comes across, forward by Jorginho. A little bit forceful from Reece Bennett, but gets back into position. Collier tries to make the challenge. Gabriel Jesus gets round Harry Amas. Amas re-engages, tries to get the tackle in, does not let Gabriel Jesus go. Really good defending from the Manchester United left back, and now it's Toby Collier's turn to put a bit of pressure on Odegaard.
Yeah, I think it's always important for this to hopefully fizzle out.
Zinchenko comes back to Nelson. Odegaard. Just a little bit of movement here from Arsenal. That's a puzzle that United are trying to solve. Raking ball into the penalty area is just too far ahead of Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, important to remember that what Harry Amas did there, and as he's done on a couple of occasions, you don't always have to win the ball as a defender. You just need to make sure that you can get yourself into a position where if you can't and you've held it up, then or held the opposition player up, that somebody else is there perhaps to be able, in a better position to be able to do that. You don't always have to win the ball to have produced a good piece of defensive play, and he's done that on 3 or 4 occasions, Harry Amas.
Andre Onana drills a ball forward again. Can't find Hannibal. Instead, Jurrien Timber gets the ball forward. Work round the corner to Odegaard. Back it comes to Timber. Ben White. Intercepted by Toby Collier. Tries to get it infield to Mason Mount, who puts a second challenge in. I think he's played that against the Arsenal man. The referee agrees with me, and it will be a Manchester United throw. Mass. Just needed an option. Finds it in Casemiro. Turns the ball round well. Mason Mount looking for Ahmad. Just too far advanced. Couldn't quite get there. That's a good tackle from Aaron Wan-Bissaka to try and keep the pressure on. Hannibal does well to win that too, but good recovery from Arsenal. Collier. Casemiro hooks it forward, finds Mason Mount. Mason Mount has played a really clever ball into the space, and I think if Rasmus Højlund is playing in the number 9 role there, you're seeing that run, but because United playing that false 9 with Hannibal, maybe not quite the same level of anticipation.
No, just wasn't quite on the same wavelength. It was a brilliant little inside of the foot round the corner.
Well cushioned, wasn't it?
Not an easy pass to make. He just didn't read it, Hannibal. If he'd have already been on his bike, I think there was a chance he could have got there.
Arsenal 1, Manchester United 1. We've got 90 seconds to go until we get to the half-time interval. And I think Manchester United might think that they're slightly unlucky to be level as we go towards the break bend.
I would say that for, I don't know, maybe up until the goal that we all know by now is offside, I think United started the game really brightly and they showed 2, 3, 4 brilliant passages of play where they moved the ball quickly, and they had Arsenal at 6s and 7s, they had players over, and probably might have done better with the end product. But since the goal, I think we've seen that Arsenal are a very, very good footballing side, and not more so from the possession that they had for the goal. So mainly Manchester United, but Arsenal have definitely come back into it in the last 15-20 minutes.
Just a little bit of a stretch there from Reece Nelson. Catches Mason Mount on the way through. Down he goes, and the referee gives the free kick Manchester United's way. Mason Mount, when the new Manchester United blue kit was launched, was delighted at the fact that it's got M's all over it. It's basically got his initials all over the shirt. He said that very tongue-in-cheek. Clipped into the penalty area. Nodded across by Harry Maguire, and now Hannibal reaches it. Harry Maguire! Thought he was going to leather that into the back of the net, but it's blocked and turned away by Arsenal.
What a great header. And then he was on his toes for the follow-up when Hannibal nipped in front of Karl Hein.
He's done brilliantly, Hannibal there. Ahmad trying to work his way into the penalty area. Gets it as far as Reece Bennett. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Forward to Hannibal. Back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. 3 minutes of time added on at the end of this half. I think Ben Thornley's just heard on the PA. Your ears are better than mine. Andre Onana. Another long raking ball forward, looking for Marcus Rashford this time. It's well dealt with by Ben White. Seen some nice touches from Mason Mount in that number 9 position, haven't we? We've seen 2 or 3 of those now. He's caused a real problem for Arsenal, so much so that they've kind of had to resort to, kicking him up in the air at times over the first 45 minutes, Ben.
Yeah, he's been up for 2 or 3 occasions, a little bit of rough treatment.
That's a decent run from Nwaneri, but the ball's not brilliant. Toby Collier can pick it up, and it's opened up for him as well. Toby Collier striding to the edge of the penalty area. What can he do from here? Toby Collier just sees it disappear away from him. Hannibal across to Casemiro. Casemiro's pass is intercepted. Comes back to Reece Bennett, and now Harry Maguire. Casemiro gets absolutely crunched by his fellow Brazilian, Gabriel Jesus. Well, that was clumsy in the extreme from Gabriel Jesus on Casemiro.
Yeah, he doesn't normally stay down, does he? Casemiro's normally the one that puts people in the position that he was just in. But he was caught extremely late there by Jesus. Actually wasn't. It was his It was his torso, wasn't it, that
as he's
that
fallen.
caught him, slid into him.
Casemiro's done really well to make sure the weight isn't on that standing foot. That's what 75 Brazil caps will get you. Reece Bennett finds Casemiro. Just flicks it away from the penalty area to find Mason Mount. Mount out to Rashford. Rashford's got the run of Amas, comes back in field. Intercepted again.
They left Harry Maguire completely free there at that far post.
Well, that's 2 or 3 times that Manchester United have actually looked for Harry Maguire from those set pieces, isn't it? It's obviously something that they've been practicing to find Maguire to nod it back across goal.
Well, they should have learned from the first one when he was under pressure, to be fair, and still won the header. But on that occasion, he was completely and utterly unmarked.
Referee blows the whistle for half-time. Manchester United took the lead through Rasmus Højlund. Brilliant run from him, shrugging off the defender and finishing low underneath the keeper. The equaliser coming from Gabriel Jesus. A well-worked move down the left-hand side. More than a hint of offside as it was tapped in from close range, which means